With us, actor, screenwriter, author of two Oscars, author and winner of two Oscars, frankly, one of the best actors of our generation. Emma Thompson is on the line. She's up in the Arctic. SaveTheArctic.org/Emma is the website. She's up in the Arctic with Greenpeace. Emma, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Could you tell us what you're doing there and where you are?
Yes, absolutely. I'm on a Greenpeace ship, the Esperanza, in the Arctic Ocean, visiting this extraordinary, beautiful place in order to bring a kind of torchlight onto it. The ship is in fairly still waters at the moment. I'm looking out at a tessellated mountainous landscape, great ice flows and glaciers pouring all around into the bay. Very, very magnificent, but of course not quite as magnificent as they were 25 years ago.
Right. And in fact, we had on the screen for our TV viewers, we had a picture of you holding a sign that said, "This used to be ice," or "This should be ice." You were in front of an area that was melted.
Yes, indeed.
What evidence of global warming are you seeing?
There's a lot going on up here. I mean, I've been interested in environmental issues for a long time anyway, and I think they're also deeply connected to issues of global poverty and conflict. But I didn't understand, I don't think until I came here, that here at the top of the world, everything that is going wrong with our environment ends up. For instance, this morning we spent the morning cleaning up a beach. Now, from a distance, so for 50 meters, the beach looked clean. It was an inshore beach. It was a protected beach. It wasn't on the outskirts of the island. So I thought, well, that's not going to take long. We'll be able to have a bit of a sunbathe. But, oh no, once you got onto the beach, the amount of plastics that we found was enough to fill up a large skip. And none of these plastics are produced or used by local communities here. Most of the plastics come from large fisheries, so there's an enormous number of nets and buoys, but there's also very strange things like plastic dinky toys, made in China that have ended up here. When I met this extraordinary toxicologist at one of the research centers here, he said one of the really huge issues here is plastics. We are seeing plastics turning up here in the food chain, in the stomachs of birds, that contain contaminants and pollutants that we didn't even know existed. So companies are putting stuff into the plastics that we're buying and using and not telling us that some of this stuff is toxic enough to pose a serious threat to marine life.
Right, and has made its way all the way to the Arctic, where it's killing things. We're talking with actor, screenwriter, author, Oscar winner Emma Thompson, who is with Greenpeace in the Arctic right now. SaveTheArctic.org/Emma, E-M-M-A, is the website. And what caused you to get into environmental activism and took you to the Arctic, Ms. Thompson?
Well, I've always supported Greenpeace and Friends of the Earth. Those are the two big organisations in my country that, international organisations, obviously, but that I've always known about. Greenpeace has been a very romantic icon for me for many years. But I've also done a lot of work on AIDS, on poverty, and also that sort of thing. And a friend of mine moved into Canada Greenpeace as CEO, and we travelled together quite recently. And she started to talk to me about the connections between AIDS, poverty, conflict, and of course environmental degradation. And she said, I really think this Save the Arctic campaign is something that you should join in with. And as we've been talking to scientists and thinking about how all these things are connected up, it becomes clearer and clearer that without the protection of these ice fields, the Earth is going to fall.
Wow. So what's your call?
Very serious. And You talk to glaciologists, you know, and they'll people who've been coming here year after year after year, and they say what's terrifying is to see the ice disappearing, just disappearing. This is an ocean, and of course, it's deeply perverse because the oil companies who produce the stuff that is releasing fossil fuel into the environment, which is melting the ice, are now saying, oh, well, let's go in, because now we can get in there, and let's drill in the place that has melted because of the stuff we've got out of the earth and that human beings are using as fossil fuel. So the whole thing is a perverse and actually slightly insane act of self-destruction.
Yeah, planetary global self-destruction, and not only that, as the ice melts, ice which reflects sunlight and heat, it's replaced by dark blue waters which absorb sunlight and heat, which then further amplifies the problem. So what's the call to action, Emma Thompson? What are you asking people to do right now?
Well, the call to action is on many fronts. I mean, first of all, just log in to the campaign, because Greenpeace are the experts. They're absolutely brilliant at giving you things that you can do. One of the calls to action this morning that we put onto cards and filmed was just think about plastics, think about packaging, and understand that everything that you use and that you touch and that you throw away, you have to account for it.
Right.
Unaccounted for rubbish is making huge land masses the size of Spain and Portugal together. There's one that size in the Pacific Ocean. That's only 20% of the plastic that is in the ocean. The other 70% is on the ocean floor. I mean, how do we imagine this is going to turn out? It's not good. And there's no earthly reason for it, Tom. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's no reason for this. There's no reason for us not to take a string bag to the shop. There's no reason for us to recycle every single little bit of plastic. There's no reason that supermarkets can't put food out that is not covered in plastic and ask people to bring containers. What's wrong with us?
There you go. Very, very well said, Emma Thompson.
It is easy.
Indeed. Indeed. The website is savethearctic.org/Emma. And Emma Thompson, thank you so much for the great work you're doing and for dropping by today via satellite phone from the Arctic.
Okay, love to you, Tom, from the ice.
Thank you. And give our best to Emma's gone, but in response to her rhetorical question or statement, I guess, why can't we stop this pollution of our environment by plastic? And I would say the analog to that is, why can't we stop the pollution of our environment with carbon dioxide? Because there's money to be made. This is not about what are the limits of technology. We have the technology right now to make all of our plastics, or virtually all of our plastics, certainly all of our commercial packaging plastics, biodegradable. We have the technology right now to generate all of the entire planet's energy needs without burning fossil fuels. We have that ability. We don't use it because a bunch of oil billionaires make a fortune on our converting oil into plastics and oil into energy and oil into heat and oil into transportation. I mean, it's just that simple. And if we were to simply say, the cost to the environment, the cost to the Arctic, the cost to the planet of our burning fossil fuels is now going to have to be paid by these oil billionaires, by the Exxon Mobils of the world, by the Koch brothers of the world. They're going to have to start paying a carbon tax, basically, pay for the cost of the externalities that they are dumping on us, the damage that they are causing. Then all of these alternatives would become less expensive than the oil-based products.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.